So Dada, we are also live on YouTube and Facebook. We'll
Yes,
start
I
in
can
next
see it.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, should we start? We're almost 300 and people will keep joining in. Yeah. Dada, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Superb. Hi, good evening, friends, and welcome to this webinar on New Age Media Careers brought to you by the University of Mumbai, Department of Mass Media. And I would specially thank Dr. Rajdeep Sundar to give this opportunity to host such a webinar so that the student community, especially the BMM media students and the faculty colleagues, benefit from the best of the knowledge and talent available in this country in the space of marketing, branding, digital media. So I'll just give you briefly an overview on what we are going to do today and in the following 6 days. Before that, my name is Dr. Samir Karkhanis and I lead a edutech company, Yanko Executive Education. That's my introduction. Today we have a very, very special guest to address you and give you an overview. What actually is this world of media, entertainment, advertising, branding? And this gentleman has seen it all, okay? In the last 30 years of his career, spanning and starting from a management trainee in Times of India Group and spending 25 to 30 years in the Times of India Group. And Times of India, when I means, it's all the new launches which you've seen, Mumbai Times, Bombay Times, all of it. You know, Bhaskar ji has been the pioneers. So I will introduce you Dr. Bhaskar Das. He needs no introduction, very frankly. Okay, he's a media veteran. Times of India, the best flagship brands which you have seen. Then after that, he moved to the Z Media Group as a group president, handling innovation, incubation, those type of areas. Now with the most talked about news channel Republic, he's moved from sales to strategy to branding to product development, managing teams. At one time, he was handling 90% of revenues of the Times Bennett and Coleman Group, right? And that's his professional achievements. On his academic achievements, and he strongly says all the time, I'm a lifelong learner. Dr. Bhaskar Das is a PhD, has taught and teaches and is a sought after speaker in the best of the corporates and in the best of the business school. You name it, from the Harvard Business School to MIT to all the IIMs. He is a talk and requested speaker all the time to guide student, to mentor students. Currently, also, he has been mentoring student as a faculty at the famous MICA, Ahmedabad, the one of the Mecca Medinas of media and entertainment, also at the SPJN Management Institute. And at Wellinkers also, we have many a times requested his help. And on a lot of forums, I had the opportunity to really get amazing insights from Dr. Bhaskar Das. So next, I'm going to hand over the show to Dr. Das, and then he's going to take forward. Today, the entire idea, Dr. Das, is to give the students, these are basically, I'll introduce the students. Most of them are BMM final year students who will now graduate in the next 2 months. And then they will be open in looking for 2 or 3 options. Either they study further in post-graduation, they may go for jobs, or they may join family businesses. And there is where we at Yanko come in picture, where we guide all of them. But Bombay University and especially the Department of Mass Media was very keen. How do we really guide them in these challenging times? What exactly they should look forward, because academically it's different, and what insights you are going to give today is going to be very different. So today we open up with you, and then every day starting tomorrow, we have specialists whom we have invited from the industry. So tomorrow we have the Densu Group, Dan Performance Group CEO Vivek Bhargava, then we have Fountainhead Brand Tellis, and most of them are known names in the industry. So that is the way we want to really help students to take an informed decision. So Dr. Das, I'm handing over to you. I will be switching off my camera and you will take over, and there I will intervene as and when. We can go ahead with this till 5:40, 5:45. We will do this, and then we can again open up for Q&A. Students and faculty, you can ask questions in the Q&A down there, and we will try to address most of them. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hi, good evening to all of you. Thank you, Sameer, for giving me this opportunity to interact with the young students who are on the verge of completing their graduation. Before I start, I must wish all of you that I think all of you are safe and healthy along with your family. This is last 3 months or 7 or 8 weeks, the world has changed. I must say that in spite of being at the cutting edge of knowledge, as well as at the cutting edge of developments and progress in every area, I'm surprised. It looks like that this is not the same world I was born. It's amazing change, but I look into it as a great opportunity to learn. Like one of the reasons that I have always taught in classes, but today I'm talking, this is my 7th session I'm taking from the time lockdown has happened, to interact with various professionals, academicians through Zoom. So first of all, I'm wishing you all the best who are going to complete the course, or those who have already completed. My congratulations to them. Before I start specifically about the issues that Sameer wanted me to focus on, I would like to say that you are in a discipline which is fantastic in terms of career. Media is one of the fields which is most dynamic. I've spent, Sameer talked about, I spent 3 decades, but actually this year it is 4 decades. But I'm still a student. I'm studying. I'm doing a data science course now. I've submitted my 2nd PhD, because I've realized one thing: upskilling, upgradation is a continuous process. You just can't stop anytime. And now obsolescence takes place within 18 months, 2 years. So same way, when you complete your graduation, if you get a job, fair enough. I'll talk about that. But most important part is, today graduation is the new matriculation. It is so basic. You need to fine tune your skill, your expertise. Where is your knack that you would be the best person to judge? And I'll talk about the opportunities, and then you will see that actually the course that you have completed can open up new vistas, new challenges. But there are certain common qualities that also I'll focus on in terms of generic qualities that you need to have while you work. Now, coming to so post-graduation is a must. Post-graduation or doing specialization course is a must, because of the fact that once I complete, you'll find relevance to this observation that I'm making now. So remember one thing, that every knowledge has a shelf life. Like otherwise, if I have passed 40 years back, today I could be at the cutting edge of knowledge is only because every 2 years I'm continuously upskilling myself. So that shelf life, if you have to increase, you have to continuously learn. And this is not a theory, and I actually believe in it. And most of the people who are after 40s suddenly don't get job, they get right sized. They don't get job because previous 10, 15 years, they have not invested in education. So you are just starting your career. I have a feeling you need to get yourself specialized in certain amount of post-graduation activity, whether it's an MBA, whether it's any other specific media course, that is your area. So now I'll talk about the BMM course, which you can ultimately do in your career part of it. See, you have got a general understanding of media. You have got a general understanding that how journalism, advertising, your event management, various ideas you have got how to manage PR, but that's nothing. What is important is that you can have career in TV, in OTT platforms, in journalism, in public relations, advertising, then newspapers, magazines. So many things are there, but there are certain common characteristics in each of the format. The more and more you become format neutral, or to use a jargon, you are platform agnostic, means you can seamlessly move into various formats. These are the things that you need to know. Where is your knack? So let me first start with, you must have heard content is king. Every media format needs content. Newspaper content. Newspapers need content, radio need content, GEC channels need content, news channels need content. And you notice that the more and more you go into, then music channels need content and OTT platforms need content. So do you have creative knack for it? Advertising agencies, copywriters need content. So when you need content, if you have a skill towards that, please take training into that space. There are courses available, even in my MICA where I teach. MICA has creative communication craft. So you have the opportunity to upskill yourself in, suppose your knack is towards content, then you go into content. But after content comes how the content has to be marketed. One thing is to do marketing, but how do you content a content like Big Boss or a Arnab Goswami's show or a Alt Balaji program or a Netflix are different ball games. So your branding has to be also platform agnostic. The way you brand in broadcast medium, it's not so in narrowcast medium. The way you promote it in digital space is very different, because say for instance, in a television, you can take a 30-second commercial, but you cannot do the same thing in a mobile, for instance, or even in YouTube. YouTube, you see 2 minutes. Also, people don't want to wait because the attention span is maximum 2 minutes. So you skip ads, you avoid ads. So the branding strategy, if you want to be immersive, if you want people to come back to your show again and again. So marketing branding itself, while the principle of marketing branding will be applicable, but specific to media also is there. So here also you need to be format neutral. You cannot say I shall promote only in the broadcast media, but not in the narrowcast media. You need to do that. Then there is distribution. Today, if content is king, distribution is the queen. Because without distribution, without disseminating your content to the right segment, you will not be able to reach the kind of stickiness which you ultimately monetize later. Because content and distribution will help you to the next part of the thing, which is monetization. Monetization, people can call sales, people can name it anything else, but the fact remains, say for instance, again, I'm talking about My Republic, we have 100% monetization happens through advertising sales. In case of a Times of India, 90% would be through advertising sales. But in case of, say for instance, Netflix, it's a subscription drive. That's what leads to monetization. So the moment you talk about monetization, one is this time and space selling. Then there is also audience development. So there is a demand side of the business, which is audience development. There is supply side of the business, which is the monetization of the available commercial time. So that leads to pricing. What kind of pricing you do? Will you do a freemium model in case of digital, Will you do a regular pricing as it happens in a cover price in newspapers or magazines? Will it be a paid channel as per new tariff order for GEC channels? So those are the things that you need to understand. Again, format neutral, because if you know only one format, your job will be more fragile, because people are looking at skills that if the marketing head is there, he's supposed to be able to understand and navigate every form of media. Today's day of analytics, you must have seen data is the new oil. You have heard it so many times. But to my mind, data is a commodity. Data has no meaning if you cannot understand, decode what is it saying something. So you get some insight, but even insight is not enough. It must lead to an action for future, which is foresight. So how to migrate from data to insight to foresight? That's what is the whole concept of analytics. Because through foresight, you can do trend spotting. Again, trend spotting vis-a-vis delivery formats. What is true for newspapers? Say, for instance, I joined Times of India in 1980. We had 80% share of the spend of advertisers. Today, it is not even 20%, because things have migrated to new formats of media. So I have now done both print, television, digital, radio, because the group I have worked where I got access to every formats of delivery. So what you sell in a radio is very different from what you sell in television. But I cannot afford to, until unless it's only a radio company and you work there. But in a multi-group company, of course, that skill is required. So I was fortunate to have that. But the critical challenge that happens is that even if you work in a radio company or a newspaper company, you have to learn to survive in an ecosystem which is complementary. No one will say, because radio is there, you work in radio station, all my money will come to you. You get divided. So you need to understand the intricacies, the nuances of every medium, and accordingly create capabilities. Because today you are working in radio, tomorrow you might be working in, say, for instance, TikTok. So very different format. And finally, research. Research is so important. Research happens, actually I call it pre-search. Before launch of a serial, you do research. Post launch, you also do research. So research is more doing search again, and pre-search is pre-testing of a concept. So these are the 7-8 areas which runs across every formats of media, whether it is indoor, whether it is outdoor, whether it is radio, whether it is television and all that. So I hope up to this point it's clear. You must understand that you have huge opportunities because of the fact that all these 8 areas that I talked about will be applicable to every formats of delivery. So that's an advantage. Now today, another angle I want to communicate to you, because you are on the cusp of a new career, attitude. Do you have the right attitude? Now, why attitude today is important? It was always important, frankly speaking, but those days, we have worked in silos, but today you can't afford to be silos. You have to work together as an organization. So you have to understand, can I be a team player? I always give this example. Sachin Tendulkar was a fantastic player, but his captainship may not be the best, because Dhoni, who has less record like compared to Tendulkar, he was a fantastic captain. So Australian team, for instance, is known for it. They have no Tendulkar for quite some time, but as a team, they were very, very united and everyone contributed. Immaterial, irrespective of the examples, critical part is that increasingly your cross-pollination, increasingly your teamwork is very important. So in terms of attitude, some of the things that I give stress on, are you open to learning? Is your mind open? Because if your mind is open, then only you can assimilate multiple ideas. It cannot be either my idea or my way or the highway. So willingness to learn. Do you have a collaborative attitude? Collaborative attitude to work as a team member. Do you have a mentality like a founder? What is a founder mentality? Founders have huge aspiration, ambition. They take risk. I always used to say to my colleagues that because I have that founder mentality, the founders want to be successful. Professionals don't want to fail. And that's a very subtle difference, that you can take risk. No one is asking you to take risk where you lose thousands of crores. You take risk because of the fact today you don't know the answer, how to move. Because if you think you know the answer, rest assured your question is wrong. You need to today experiment, try, and see what is working and what is not working. And for that, you need to be continuously upskilling yourself so that if one area is not working, I can move to other area. You must have heard a term called pivoting. It is there in the startup world. Everyone, when the plan A is not working, you shift to plan B, plan C, and fast, and don't suffer. Remote working. Remote working today, I've been working from home for the last close to 4 weeks because from the time Janta curfew was imposed. And it's a completely new world. Your discipline is very different. So I really, outfit-wise, from morning 10 o'clock, I'm ready. I'm attending to calls. I'm attending to Zoom calls. I'm connecting with clients because clients are working from home. My colleagues are working from home. It's a completely new world. It requires different kind of motivation that I am. And at the same time, I'm learning new skills. And the execution, imagine I'm doing a 20-member team conversation with clients and the agencies and my colleagues to get an idea fructified. Your storytelling ability, if you have, there's nothing like it. This is about narratives. If you look at, I always say Mr. Narendra Modi is one of the best marketeers. What a storyteller he is, the way he involves, the way he rallies people around. I talk about that is called the storytelling ability. Storytelling ability, that's why you remember some of the communication very well compared to others. Your data literacy has to be very good. You might be an arts stream or humanities student, but understanding what data is saying would help you lead the team and lead the team and also guide your colleagues. Someday you will be a boss, so you have to do that. You need to be outcome driven rather than output. I've sent so many proposals, no one is interested. No one gets rewarded for efforts. They want to see outcome. I hope you understand the difference between output and outcome. Outcome is essentially is your, just you finish the work. Whereas outcome is ultimately you have to change the course and ensure that whatever is the big picture the company has communicated need to be informed. Your positivism in today's day and world, positivism is so important because of the fact that there's so much negative forces going on. Your positivism, you'll find a way out. Positivism is moving towards the future. Positivism is towards forward moving, as opposed to getting scared about what are the changes that are happening. You need to go beyond the comfort zone. Just because you have become a graduate, for instance, doesn't mean you will get a job. If you don't get a job, it doesn't mean anything negative about you. It shows that you need to upskill in the emerging areas. I can tell you, there are jobs which are not even invented what is going to come up between 2025 and 2030 because new kind of qualities are coming. So you need to adopt a very smart strategy. Smart here, I mean, the spelling of smart is S-M-A-R-T. And the SMART I mention as an acronym. SMART is you need to understand whatever you are going to do, it needs to be specific, identifiable, and of course, observable. So if you say, for instance, you are clear, I want to develop in the area of content of radio, then you become a not radio jockey, but radio or song selection. If you want to be working in TikTok, do you want monetization or do you want content? So you'll see that everything you have to first very clear about smartness. Smart is being specific. M is measurable. Whatever you do, it must have a measurability yourself. And it is so important that it should be objective and not in generic terms. I want to be a great professional, which is absolute bullshit because of the fact that everyone is professional. What is most important, you should be creating your own benchmark. Smart, next is A. SM, I've covered. A is achievable. You have to make it slightly difficult. So say, for instance, you learn how to do coding, for instance. Coding, everyone doesn't know. So you have to go beyond your comfort zone because Python or XYZ, whatever it is there, today everyone looks for coders. There are jobs plenty. Coding is required for every media formats of delivery at some stage at the back end. And then, of course, smart, then they are. R is relevant. It is to be, remember one thing, it has to be meaningful to you as an individual, meaningful to the organization or the department that you work. You cannot do some flying kites and it doesn't work for the corporation, for instance. The relevance is also a moving target. Please understand what is relevant today is not relevant tomorrow. So last 3 months, the relevance of a lot of things I knew have changed, and I've already started upgrading myself because of the fact that relevance is not a static place. I have finished my MBA, I have finished my BMM, so I'm through. No, your real learning starts when the tire hits the road. That is very important. And finally, smart strategy. T, T has to be time bound. Everything has to be time boundness, whether in your work or in your studies. I have to finish this course within next 12 months. I want to do something in the sports management. But suppose you do sports management and at the same time you find that the job opportunities are less, then you have to perhaps go to the uncomfortable zone. No, let me do event management. Now, will you be able to do events in view of the fact that the people are talking about social distancing? How events will work? Will you do virtual events? So these are the questions that will continuously come. Your smart strategy should be so agile. There's nothing called end. There will be only bend. So environment will always be there. There will be always some virus coming and disrupting corporations. But fact remains, you need to be following the smart strategy to be at the cutting edge of the relevance in the marketplace. Finally, I would say, remember, every company, definitely they look for qualification, but you are hired for attitude. But you are trained for skill. And the training you can do yourself or the company. Quite often companies don't do it. I can tell you, I have never been trained by the company. I have trained myself always by taking courses or studying myself. So the attitude has helped me, and the skill has really helped me in pushing ahead. And remember, you have to be remarkable to be remarked. If you're not remarkable, no one would notice. And your chasing of excellence is possible only when you know what is excellence. And excellence is just a journey and not a destination, because what is excellent today is no longer excellent tomorrow. Samir, I'm through with the basic introduction. I can now answer the question.
Sure, Dr. Das, fantastic. So there are a lot of questions which I am getting in the Q&A and in the chats also. So I have classified them into some segments, and I will now ask you that, and you can answer them. Yeah.
And you can ask the questions one by one. I'll answer, and then you can ask the next question.
Sure. Sounds good. So I have just compiled a lot of them. So first question is from, how is your experience working with Times of India Group, then Zee Entertainment and Republic? Can you share your journey and some learnings which happened from a print company to a broadcasting company, and what happened in between, which the students can take forward? You know, they can learn of the flexibility, integrative thinking. That is what they are asking.
See, I can spend whole day on this, but I'll be very brief, because it is not about me. It's
basically, they want to know the learnings and changes, how you reinvented every time.
Okay. See, all of you, Samir has mentioned, I joined as a management trainee in 1980 after completing my MBA from Calcutta University. And I joined as a management trainee. I can tell you my salary was only 1,000 rupees. And the interesting part is that I was, after 2 years of training, they put me into the monetization department, which I was talking about, which is called ad department in case of this. I was transferred 5 times every time I accepted. Till 1993, we had no problem. Life was so easy. There was toughness, but what I'm trying to say, when I said easy, means print was the dominant player. After that, television came, radio came, digital came, everything came. And suddenly, from an 80% share of the market, we started coming down, and then ultimately, as I told you, where we stand now. The interesting thing that every slowdown, first we experienced in 1993, then in 1999, then 2001 dot-com bust, then 2007, then 2011. Every time there's a crisis, we had to innovate, to remain afloat, to make a difference. And another thing that I followed during this journey, apart from I was given multi-market, multi-location exposure, I was also given multi-discipline. I never objected to any transfer to any department or any new role. In fact, at one point of time, early 2000, I was handling 4 or 5 different portfolios without any corresponding increase in salary, nothing. They wanted me to give. And the owners used to say, if you want to get any work done, give it to Bhaskar. Then after I finished my 33 years in Times of India, I got a job as a group CEO for the television, internet, and your print of Zee Media Corporation. So there I joined as a group CEO and worked there for the profit center. I worked there for the content. I worked there for trying to learn digital myself. That was my really first exposure to digital. And I have learned it from younger colleagues. And today I realize that, ultimately consumer and commerce is same everywhere. Execution is different. And then now I do, say for instance, what I'm doing now, I've realized that academics remains very theoretical. So I'm doing academics. At the same time, I am working in Republic and guiding them in terms of monetization, in terms of content strategy. And it really has, now television I've done before, so actually Republic is not a new learning, but what is the new learning is that within 2 years you have become a profitable company. Usually the standard industry protocol is that, or rather I would say convention, is that it takes minimum 3 to 5 years to break even. We have broken even in the first month because of the fact that we have marketed it differently. We have never followed anything holy grail of journalism in terms of the standard news channels. So there's a tremendous learning in every stage, and I'm still learning. And the other thing that happens is in the academics. Today I'm teaching students who are post 2000 born. And in fact, in the classes I don't teach. I also learn from them. I interact with them. I see that the consumer, how it is developing, because at any given point of time, today there is a clash of civilization. There are 5-6 different consumers in the ecosystem. So when I treat someone who is 60s born, 70s born, 80s born, and someone is 2000 born, is very different. Parents are different. So I call them social cohorts are different. So social cohorts, demographic cohorts are very different. And only when you are a learner, when you know that your past today, actually, I can be honest with you that my 40 years experience, I feel embarrassed to even state, because it's not coming handy. What is coming handy is what I'm learning today. Just wanted to tell you that my second PhD is on social listening. And there are professors who ask me in my institute, what is social listening? Is it not social media? I said, not at all. Social listening is everything about internet. When I did my first PhD, which was media planning, and now on social listening, there's a migration. Now you will wonder why I'm doing second PhD. For a simple reason, I did my first PhD in 2008. And then I started my second PhD in 2016. 8 years means digital age is 80 years. Now, can you imagine how outdated media planning when I did? There was no programmatic. So if in your media course today you have been taught media planning, you can take a special course on media and be a specialization in media planning itself. The media buying and planning decisions that are made, which means you have to be good in numbers. You should be good in managing Excel sheets and of course optimization theories and everything. So and of course every formats of delivery. So I have been able to network with multiple clients, multiple sectors, multiple regions, multiple disciplines. As a result, got a hugely homogenized exposure, but still I'm learning. Whatever I've told you today, you will not get it in books. This is what I've learned in my whole life. And this is what will stand you in good stead if you remain a perpetual student during your career journey.
So Dada, the next question is about, how to mix academics and then corporate. So most of the students here, the participants in this webinar today are, graduating masters, BMM media students. They have a question. They are asking, is it now the right time to immediately study post-graduation in media entertainment or first take a job? That is one question.
Okay. Conceptually, you work for 2 years and don't go for studies is a damn good idea because you understand practice. But no one recruits you for 2 years. The moment the employer will come to know, they will not recruit you. Second thing, I always say that every food item, every medicine has an expiry date. Whatever you have been taught to you are very good, but that's not enough to move ahead in the corporate ladder, to the corporate hierarchy. So ideally, if your financial system, financial support system can accommodate and support you, please do a post-graduation course. It's very important, or fine-tune where is your knack, which I mentioned. If you think you have copywriting, if you think you have got media planning, if you think you have got photography, if you have event marketing, do a course on that. What is the advantage of a course? You understand the discipline. You don't start from the scratch. You can approach your subject in a structured manner and then fine-tune it with the empirical realities. So my recommendation would be those who can afford it, please go for it, because otherwise in the long run, you will not be, and long run means, I'm not taking long run means 10 years, I'm talking about within the next 3 to 5 years, you'll find it difficult to move ahead because graduation is a common table stake. What will differentiate is your specialization. You look at the GPs, GPs in the medicine and the specialists. Why specialists do better than the GPs is because of the fact that you have requirements of specialists today. You can have a combination of specialist and generalist because during job it is required. And every employer prefers someone who is ambidextrous or who is skilled in multiple things and do it so that you don't have to divide the job because they're related jobs. So, and rest assured, one important point I missed out. any job that is repeatable once or twice, rest assured it will go to a robot. Rest assured, newspaper companies will give the production room to the robots. Today, technology takes care of everything. Today, even heart stents are being put by robots. Now, are you going to compete with robots? You can never compete because of this speed that the machine, the quantum computing that is going to happen. What will be able to do, however, what a robot cannot do? Your ability to identify, your sense making, your ability to find a solution through leveraging analytics, your capability of human empathy about human feelings. I think that's what is required. So, in United States and throughout the world, developed world, they call about STEM as the future. STEM means science, technology, mathematics, and all that. But I'm saying no, STEM and also humanities. This is where ultimately, increasingly, you have to manage human beings. You have to manage ideas. Today, say for instance, even Alexa is improved up to a point. Alexa's next version can be brought out by human beings. Today, technology cannot solve COVIDs. Human scientists are doing it. So please understand that education is very important. And I would say after graduation, whoever can do it, please go for further specialization.
So, same again, a very parallel question to that. Is it better to do a 2-year MBA in market? So there are students who want to make definitely a career in media, branding, advertising, sports management, celebrity, journalism. These are the audiences, what I can see from the questions. They want to know, is it better to do a specific postgraduate program in media entertainment? Because they're not interested in HR or IT or anything at this stage. That is the one question. Second, they're asking, should they go just for a digital marketing program or just for a branding program or just for a journalism, or a holistic approach in a course for maybe 1 year or maybe 2 years is important to get into the industry?
See, I would say MBA is even today relevant and corporates still prefer MBAs, but within MBA, you can create specialization in analytics. See, it is not about database marketing. Please understand, marketing is same. Today, data is being leveraged that you can serve your customers on a real-time basis. There's nothing called digital marketing. People use that word loosely. I always object because of the fact that marketing is same customer centricity. Only thing, customer is empowered now. Digital is allowing you as a tailwind to serve your customers better. So today, supply chain management is being managed by Flipkart, but that doesn't mean they are not customer oriented. So I feel MBA is better. It's a marketable skill. It's also recruitment oriented. Whichever you do, I agree. An IIM or an IIM or ISB is a good calling card. But it is only at the beginning. After that, individual's dedication, commitment, learning ability, openness that I talked about, that will be useful. And it is very important that MBA, then you go for an act. That within MBA, you said that I'm not interested in HR. But point is, today when you become, suppose a manager or a CEO or even an entrepreneur, everything is about human beings. If you don't understand HR, see why people say that Mr. Kalanick of Uber was a horrible human being to manage people. Why Elon Musk is being questioned, fantastic vision, because it's dreadful to work. Ultimately, it is about people. So people handling is a very different skill. So to my mind, MBA gives you first 1 year a very holistic experience, or ISB, even within 1 year, within 6 months, they give you a holistic experience. Then I go to quantitative techniques. Then I go to algorithm or analytics. Then I'm going to media specialization. It depends on the knack of the individual. Like Micah, you can go for media specialization, you can go for a creative specialization, you can go for analytics specialization. And digital is everywhere. Digital is not one area, every area, whether supply chain management, whether distribution, whether content, everywhere digital plays a part.
Also, there are another question I can read here. Are like 1 year programs probably which cover a lot of things on media, advertising, branding, sports, celebrity, event management. A combination of that course could work, or just I should do just one event. See, Dada, here, and I would also like to add, many of the students are not the CAT, CET, ZAT, GMAT students. They are not really looking at the tier 1 CAT 99 percentile IIM ISB. So most of them or all of them are Mumbai based. So there is also a question coming, on whether I should do a 11-month focus program in media or a 3-month program in digital or a 6 months program in events. or do I do a postgrad which gives me a view of all of this together before I get in the industry?
See, market will not value, frankly speaking, 3 months you can learn. If you're a fast
Okay.
learner, you will
Okay.
get some very, very, very perfunctory understanding. 3 months may not have a real market value, but one
Yes.
should do at least a 1-year course on, say, event management from a decent institute. I understand you don't give CAT and all that, fair enough. You can do an online MBA program. Now, online MBA program as yet market is not really recognizing much, but I think now they will understand because everything is becoming
So true.
online. But when
So true.
an IIM or a MICA goes to online, that's a different kind of challenge. Still, you have to give CAT. So if there is a knack for event management, sports management, you can do that. But you must understand that in today's context, I wonder event management, what will be the future? Now, I know once you get a vaccine, event management will not be a problem. Imagine Ganpati is happening in Bombay and there is social distancing. So God will be in one place, everyone else will be in another place. Can you imagine anyone who stays in Bombay, how difficult it is? So event management, now, even if you learn something, you may not be able to, because event management companies are without money and asking people to go. But you learn event management, learn it well, because 1 year is minimum, 11 months, 1 year is very important to learn a course, learn a discipline very well, and also to get exposure to that particular discipline.
There are also participants in the webinar who are now like passed out maybe 1 year or 2 year back. So they're either interning or are at basic level of jobs where they are learning in PR, and I can see somebody in journalism, and maybe somebody is in celebrity management company as trainees, or maybe 1 year, 2 year experience. Now they are asking, keeping in mind the current crisis which they are fearing losing jobs also. It's very visible from the questions here. So they are asking, is this the right time to really proactively give a stop to what they are currently doing? Because tomorrow employers are going to tell them that and move into academics and do something. Because they like the field, but they don't know what to do. Most of them I am seeing are, sports and events company questions coming in. That way.
Okay, I can tell you first, now you should not react to the current situation. Everything is temporary, it will get past. But this is the new world order, that everything will be very volatile, or VUCA as they call it. No. So
Okay.
in a volatile world, if you talk about is it the right time, I would say everything is the right time at every moment, because of the fact you cannot get prepared after the tsunami comes. So those who are working, for instance, my recommendation would be, don't leave the job, but do a course, whether online at home, but you must be able to discipline yourself to go in the evening for a class, or in online is easier because of the social distancing. Do the course, don't leave the job, because getting a job is difficult now. And if you continue to do, and your employer will see this guy is studying and contributing that learning and don't do study just like that. Bring that learning into your job so that you look better than others. So you have to always compete. No. So it is very critical that in other times I would have said, fine, leave job because you have to give full time a 2-year course. But today every institute have got online evening courses. Do that course. You learn the technique, the way to approach the subject. You'll be able to relate in your context of the environment. So I would say hybrid approach would work better now. But increasingly, suppose job goes, fear is no preparation. Get ready for it in advance so that when the fear happens, you can easily pivot from that area. Suppose someone talked about sports management. Now, sports things worldwide, Wimbledon getting postponed, Olympic getting postponed. Does it mean sports will go away? No, I don't believe. Once vaccines comes, everything will be fine. But fact remains, currently you will lose job. All the IPL franchises are asking people to go. Now, point is that you have learned something. So if you're, again, it's a matter of supply side fund. If you have the fund, study is the only thing which can get you going through multiple such paradigms, because paradigms will go on coming and future will no longer be predictable. It will be uneven, but you should be able to surf that unevenness well, only through education.
Great. There are questions coming in which probably I'll answer in a minute. So see that also for the benefit of the students, funds and education, which is also, for some it is beyond their means. But currently the kind of education financing which is available students in this country, the EMIs are as small as 10 to 15,000 rupees, and you can pay over a period of 3 years. And normally a media program could cost anywhere between 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs in a city of Mumbai. So money should be your last
Oh,
worry.
that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
very fantastic. That's
There are
reassuring.
phenomenal funded edutech companies who fund for education needs, because these are post-graduation programs, and you then after a year or so you get a job after this course. So don't worry about that money, because people are asking on this side.
No,
So
I'm just suggesting, because you
yes,
know that
you
better,
should.
because I have never faced that problem. But the fund, if it is there, because
Yes.
even if people who have fund, they don't have the willingness.
Yes. So it's about motivation, and instead of sitting at home and worrying what is going to happen after COVID, I think it's time, if you have an opportunity, to get into that. Okay,
Yes,
I'll
correct.
ask one more question, Dada. Here it's coming repeatedly. Okay, there is a question, where people are asking, this is our BMM student, but they're saying I'm inclined to photography, or I'm inclined to creative parts, and I'm inclined in writing. So basically there's a lot of questions on creative. Now they want to blend this with the management side of things, so they are not too sure whether I want to be a journalist forever, but they are talking about something as branded content. So is a management kind of input or learning needed to get in that jobs? Sponsorship, somebody saying, I want to be an assistant producer but into the creative side, but I also want to do, so they want to basically merge creativity with commercial. So should they then do some management courses?
See, I can tell you one thing, that, can a journalist be an advertising guy? Technically, yes, I can give example of the editor of Brand Equity today, is the CEO of Network 18. He was a journalist who has gone into management stuff, but he's from Narsi Monjia, an MBA who has come into journalism. See, if you are open to it, that I'll combine multiple disciplines, but the companies have to be ready until he becomes the owner. See, I'm not talking about the owner, then you can do everything. But I'm saying that if you want to be a journalist and the salesman, as of today, it's not happening much, because journalists are embarrassed to be a salesman. I'm talking about monetization. The salesman feels embarrassed to be a distribution guy. So everything can be done. There is no course which can teach all 5 capabilities simultaneously. You can do them at sequence or on the job. See, I can tell you one example. Was the managing director of Cadbury once upon a time, Chandramouli. Chandramouli was always a marketing guy. The managing director one day told him, you go to HR. In Unilever, it happens continuously. He was objecting, but he said, let me go. And he has mentioned in his book that those 3 years, what he has learned in HR, he could not learn in the whole life of marketing. So what I'm trying to say, that, you can oscillate into, these are all young kids. They would like to experiment this and that, which is perfectly all right. Yeah. So you first learn it from yourself and then decide ultimately. Freezing, I've got a specimen at home. My son was also experimenting. Now he has frozen into some area. Now he's 30. So what is critical is that you have to find your own knack, but you cannot simultaneously, when you're starting your career, I want to be in journalism, I want to be in monetization. Everyone says they are creative. What is creativity? Are you looking for Shakespearean creativity? Are you looking at the creativity of Piyush Pandey? Or you are looking at, I'm thinking even a sweeper can be creative, depending on how do you handle and solve your problem. Ultimately, who is a creative person? Forget about painters and those who are film directors. I'm talking about creative is that person who solves a problem. Everyone is an artist. Everyone has to solve a problem. So you decide which problem you love to solve. There are a lot of people who say, I want only marketing. From the very beginning, I want to be a strategy expert. How can you be a strategy expert without being in the field? So you must understand that you have to go through the little grind in multiple disciplines. Maybe you work in a company, you said, I want to get an HR exposure. I want to get this exposure, that exposure. Actually, if you look at it, I have worked in marketing department, sales department, but I was also a great HR person, not without doing any HR specialization. But my MBA HR has helped me what is critical in HR. So I have a feeling experimenting with multiple areas gives you an advantage of pivoting, means plan A, plan B, plan C. So you first do, suppose on marketing. Then after doing that, you do an online course on HR, an online course on materials management. You do that and create those capabilities as side points so that anytime I can shift. But when you are starting a job, you cannot say, I want this, I want this, I want that. Then big companies are still in silos. No one is doing it that fine, you do this and you do this and you do this until unless it's a very small company and you as the owner try to dabble in everything.
So true. One more question, many would like to work. So they're asking ki, what is your view on online MBA programs, either short term or long term, but management programs done online from reputed universities, in India and abroad, there are many who are offering. So how is the industry looking at this acceptability in the days to come?
I can tell you one thing, the attitude is changing already. See, ultimately people buy skill and attitude. So even if you are not from IIM, there are people who, I know startups, they don't touch IIM because IIM are not in sync with the realities of life. But still, IIM gets better wives, they get better jobs, better salary. But fact remains, it all depends on the individual. So whether you do it on online, it's fine. I cannot do CAT, so I will not do MBA. That's wrong. Today, online MOOC courses are doing well. You paid courses are doing well. You please do. MBA is what? It is a tool and technique to help you access problems, real life problems. And when you do online, advantages in your own time, you can work and do it. You have at your pace rather than going to a class and going through Hajaro projects and all that. So to my mind, online is a reality. In fact, the more you do online, you will be in sync with the new workplace because remote working will be a reality of life. I think tomorrow touching someone will be out of order because touching is not in sync. At the same time, we have to be collaborative. At the same time, we have to work together. So I think my 4 hours travel have gone away from my job going. I think working from home, my productivity has gone up. So online is very good. See, online, there is no discussion. That is hygiene now.
Yes, so true, so true. Absolutely. In fact, I must add here, a lot of business schools are incorporating online curriculum from best of the content providers from the world in their normal post-graduation or MBA or master's curriculum now, because there are skills some faculty may have and there are skills which some colleges may not have. So it's better to collaborate and bring those modules in the curriculum.
I think it's a very, it's a very exciting time for all these young people who are coming out and all that, that you are very technology friendly by nature. You don't have to go to NIIT to learn technology, but you have to now upskill that because please understand the post 2000 born, post 2010 born will be smarter than you. So you have to compete. Power has shifted towards that young generation. So you need to be always at the cutting edge of knowledge. Otherwise, experience has no meaning. I always say experience is a liability if you are not forward moving. So that I have got 20 years experience. I know 30 years experience. Whenever any candidate tell that to me, I said, this is finished. Because the 30 years is like looking at rear view mirror and moving forward. Can you drive like that? You can't. So digital is given. So you are a generation which is the most blessed that rest assured you will be at the cutting edge of any job. Anyone would prefer to recruit you.
There are questions coming from professors and faculty members also on, what are 3 or 4 things, 3 skills they should have as faculties because they are also dealing with a very young age group of people. So what skills they need? How can they upgrade? Faculty also wants to know.
See, I interact with professors with due apologies to all of them. I'm saying, so please pardon me. I always ask this question: when did you last learn? When you were last a student? When did you last work in a corporate place? I give this idea about corporate consultancy. I said, why you take fees? You first deliver a project, life project, and take fees. Obviously, no one wants to do that. If you are teaching today that corporate governance, everyone talk about ethics, everyone is teaching. That's why there is an Yes Bank happen, why ILFS happens. They're all MBAs. I'm telling you, they're big daddies of the world. Why it happens? The question is about personal ethics and personal upbringing. So till you understand, you have to know about one thing. In one BBC interview, I once said, what is my biggest strength? My biggest strength is my ignorance. I don't know anything. My colleagues know all answers. My problem is I don't know any answer. Academic system has taught us, if you don't know the answer, you're a bad student. I'm saying those who don't know the answer, they're the best students. I always give the example of Kasab. Kasab never had a map. Those 10 guys came and screwed whole of Bombay. At least our police are much more qualified. I'm not talking Kasab, don't take literally. I'm just talking about the 10 people when, because they did not know the domain, then they worked on the terrain that they worked. They had a jihad. So imagine you have a jihad of being a super successful person. So same thing, professors, remember you have passed out, say hypothetically in 60s or 70s. The students you are teaching, that they're Googling, they are Facebooking, they are TikToking. They're suffering from attention deficit disorder. They don't want to know about which Harvard Business School studies happened in 1975. They are interested in telling me now, how do you do it? I've in Symbiosis, they are telling me, Bhaskar, can you give us a project? I said, make DNA the #1 paper in Bombay. No, that how we can do it, take it up. But you'll be paid the moment you get #1, we become #1, we shall share revenue. That they don't want. They want phase of 2.5 crore. Now, point is, why should I spend? I know DNA can never be #1 anyway, they got closed down. So what I'm trying to say, it is very critical for professors. You have to be first students, because remember, you are doing one divine work of upskilling, of training people who will be in the industry, your ambassador. So you have to be at the cutting edge of knowledge, not just theoretical, also empirical. I'll give you one example, Samir.
Yes.
This no MBA can teach. Satara district, just now it has happened and it became viral. In Satara district, a lot of vegetable this year production has been very good, and 1.5 lakh people stay there. And people are suffering because of social distancing. No farmer could go to the mandi and in the market. So vegetables are getting wasted. This social reformer there, who has been there for 15-20 years, he said, if municipal corporation can go and pick up garbage from every home, why not I hire 10 trucks, pick up the vegetable from the farmers at their price, and come and sell at a nominal upside to the consumer from house to house. Do you know, it has been a huge success. It's a case study. Now, I don't know tomorrow after post-COVID, if intermediaries will come and intervene, but actually he has disintermediated. So technology can solve everything. He's managing supply chain, he's managing everything. Now, which management class will teach this? No one can teach. I was blown by the case study that this has happened. So please understand, the more you spend time, professors, spend time in the industry, learning, shadowing, or working on projects, you'll see that the gap between knowledge and practice will come out.
Okay. There are a lot of questions which I'll just address and highlight on which are good institutes, which are good courses. Friends, I would like to tell you, we are going to do a separate session on Sunday evening, on 19, 5 to 6, same time, where we will address what are the careers and what are the courses, what are the colleges. So I'm keeping those questions there. But yes, I can see a lot of people asking that you don't want to go maybe to an Ahmedabad or maybe Hyderabad. And, at this situation, parents, when a lot of girls are asking, I don't want to leave the city. And so what courses can I do in Mumbai? So yes, there are a lot of good institutions in the city of Mumbai who provide media and entertainment postgraduate education. This forum is absolutely neutral to those institutes. So we would not like to name them now. But when we do a session on institutes, careers, courses, online, offline on Sunday, certainly we will do that. Only advice I'll give you, yes, what Dada also has been trying to tell us, it is all about integrated programs. You need to have, and if you have the money or if you are able to organize finance, immediately after graduation, one should look at doing a post-graduation. It could be a 2-year MBA. It could be a 11-month program in media entertainment. It could be an online program. But this is the time to study. There is no right time to study. That is what Dr. Das has been telling us. Every time is a good time to study and upskill, especially for youngsters like you. Jobs are going to be difficult, and that's what we were told by the University of Mumbai Department of Mass Media, that they conducted a survey of the student community. And students also acknowledge the fact that economy will take 6 months to 12 months to improve. The situations will be difficult to get jobs, and very clearly it is getting visible. And experts also are telling us that this is the time to upskill and stay relevant, so that when the things open up, you are ready to really join the workforce. So make the best use of this kind of a learning opportunity, because learning is going to help you. Warren Buffett has said is the best way to beat inflation is education. Right? And you have the opportunity, parents are there to support you, financial institutions are there are good counseling opportunities. Because I can see a lot of questions here which are, I'm still confused whether should I go to PR or should I go to advertising. So we will do sessions on that, and from tomorrow we are going to have experts on those very verticals. They will also guide you on that. And your academic questions, courses, fees, keep it for Sunday evening. We will address that separately. I will take that session then.
Samir, may I compliment your point? I agree with you that they're on Sunday, but one point I'm trying to say that
yes,
all my young colleagues, I'm telling you, this is not a permanent scenario what you're seeing now. Please
Yes.
understand that. Nothing in life is permanent. It can take 2 months more, maybe, hypothetically, then economic downturn, so it will take another 6 months to get over. It is not a permanent feature. Academics is like an armor in your body. Okay,
Yes.
so if you don't want to leave this station, well, that goes against my principle of are you open? See, your mobility decides your career mobility, but I understand that sometimes family compulsions, you look after parents or parents don't want, but you don't have to leave. But today online, you can do it anywhere you want a course. Please understand, you don't have to rush anywhere, but please, for heaven's sake, I always give this example of, if you go and buy mutton or fish, if you are vegetarian, my apologies, you look at the guy who is cutting the mutton or fish, every few minutes he sharpens the knife. Why he does that? Because it gets blunt. You have to continuously sharpen your skill, and today sharpening skill is so relevant. I'm doing it every day. I never go to bed without learning one thing new when I don't have to do it, and that's why I'm still getting job. One of the reasons is that I'm excited by the new world order, and in fact, the more challenging the environment, I get excited, because then your metal is tested. Now, in that metal, Darwin's principle will work. Only the fittest will survive. Fittest in this case is a guy who is most pliable in terms of knowledge, execution, working smart and hard, and follow that smart technology, smart acronym that I said. Follow that smart thing. You as an individual, remember, forget about company. You must understand you are yourself a company. I'll do PR, or I do advertising, or I do event. It is on your knack. You can try one or few months, but don't waste too much time in thinking 5 years to know whether I'm good in events or not. I'm fatigued, I'm burnt out. Nothing. I understand your competition is much more, but the more you study will give you the excitement, what you are passionate about. And then job is another. You may not get, unless you're an entrepreneur, you may not get the job that you'd love to do it. You have to follow orders, you have to follow targets, but then your passion you follow suppose you are in photography, do photography today, everything is digital, do online courses on photography and pursue your passion differently. So work-life balance people talk about, I always feel if there is no work, there is no life, and if there is no life, there is no work. But today you can take a different line. I'm doing work, I'm following my passion. So at any time you can migrate to passion, because you have become such good in photography that you are doing PhD, you are teaching in photography, is perfectly all right. So follow this twin track of job and academics together, so that you can be able to contribute in your current job or get ready for a new job in new area.
Super. Dr. Das, thanks a lot. This was fantastic insights to open up that entire journey of the master class for young students. They have a lot of doubts and confusions, but as Youngpo career counselors, we will work with the university teams to really help them to address those dots. So thank you very much. And friends, thanks for joining in. And every evening starting tomorrow 5 o'clock, do log in early and get your queries answered. Dr. Das, last words from you before we wrap.
Just one request to all of you: remain positive. I know there are enough things to make you feel negative. Human mind is like magnet. You remain positive, positive things will happen. No knowledge is lost. Please go on accumulating knowledge. You will always be relevant. You will never be obsolete. And Samir, for instance, is guiding you in the right direction. Whenever you can ask him any question in future also, and if he wants to connect with me, I can help. Because remember one thing, you need hand-holding. There's nothing wrong in whatever family says. There's nothing wrong in making a wrong choice. At least you have tried, but must be able to pivot very fast. You do not know how many times even Bill Gates have failed before he became successful, or Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was sacked from his job, but then Steve Jobs became Steve Jobs. So I know those are rare examples, but every chaiwala doesn't become the prime minister. But then you start selling tea doesn't mean you will be the prime minister. What is critical is your ability to be dedicated to your work, your commitment to work, while you look after family requirements and everything. But remember, what stands in good state is your own capability, your own patience, your own openness, your own positivism. That will work for you. And I'm always there anytime for any other question.
Super. Thanks a lot, Dr. Das. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sundar Rajdeep ji from University of Mumbai, Department of Mass Media. And thank you, the Youngpo team, to put these things together for our young student friends and faculty. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Sumit. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me to interact with you. Thank you. Bye.
Great. Friends, see you tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock again. Thank you very much.